All right, so let's talk a little bit about who John Mauldin is. I first discovered John's newsletter about 8 years ago, and I've been an avid fan ever since. John has this very, very interesting motto on his bio and his website, which is, "I subscribe to the Yogi Berra School of Career Paths. I came to a fork in the road, and I took it." The way John looks at things is he doesn't try to make 10-year plans. You know, he does respond to the moments and to his environment really well. One other thing that we're very happy to announce tonight is that John wrote this great book called Just One Thing. It's a compilation of 12 of the smartest, brightest investment people he knew who all wrote about the one single thing that they would really like to have their investments in, their best investment choice. John himself wrote the 13th one, so the book it's a great book to read and some great writers in it. So John has autographed 100 copies. We have them outside, so when you're finished tonight, there's a copy for each family. Hopefully as couples, you'll just take one. That would be really appreciated. And John's email newsletter that goes out, it started in 2000 with 1,000 readers. It's now up to 1.5 million each week. I was just saying to John, it would be great if the growth rate of your investments was remotely as close. So John, if you went to his website, and for those of you, I'm sure quite a few of you actually subscribe to John's newsletter, but if you don't, this is where you need to go. It's www.2000wave.com. And here are some things. This is also from his other book, Bullseye Investing, the first book that John did in 2004. And some quotes from this book are very interesting. The first one here, "The research I presently present clearly shows we have a long way to go in this bear market cycle." So this was written 6 years ago. In addition to that, he said, "The historical and mathematical analysis of bubbles suggests we could see the stock market drop much further before beginning the next bull market." So this is many years ago that John was talking about the issues of overvaluation in markets. And interestingly, it's not just limited to stocks. He wrote first about the housing bubble in 2004 and about the mortgage markets just a few years later in 2007. But again, well ahead of the curve on so many commentators and investment analysts. John has partners around the world. John believes strongly in the idea of absolute return investing, especially in a marketplace. In the last decade, it's been virtually impossible to actually get a positive return investing in blue chip equities. So he has his partners around the world. His primary partner is Altegris Management, who we will be working with based out of La Jolla, California. They run a great conference every year. So if you have an opportunity next April to attend that conference, you really should. Some of the best speakers I've seen in any single investment conference. His partners in London are absolute partners. His partner in South America and Uruguay is Fin Capital, and we are the most recent partner for John for Canada, and we're very happy and very proud to be there. I should also point out, at the personal level, John has a big family. He's 2 children and 5 adopted children. And this is a picture of all of them, except for one, including in-laws and grandkids, and the latest trip to Italy. So it was, from what all I can hear, a fantastic trip. So I'm going to introduce John now, and then we're going to come back in about 30 minutes to do Q&A. So please, everybody, a warm welcome for John Mauldin. Thanks, John.
Thank you. That was fun. I want to get to know that guy. We're going to visit a concept that I've been writing about in my letter. I assume most of you read me, right? Is that fair? You're one of my 1 million closest friends? Okay. So you know that I'm writing a book called The End Game, and I'm down to the end of the end game. I mean, we're hopefully going to be having the first rough draft finished in the next couple weeks with my co-author. Then we're going to swap chapters, and we're going to edit each other and maybe have a book ready to send to the publisher by the end of August. So I'm thinking about this concept a lot. I mean, a lot. Because what I mean by the end game is we're coming to the end of the debt super cycle. And that's a fundamentally different economic and financial landscape than we've seen in any of our lives. Now, some countries will be better than others. If you're the Swiss, you're not at the end of your debt super cycle. You never begin one. You just don't borrow money. But most of the developed world is getting ready to be taken out and put up against the wall. And so this is why you have the G20 that was in Canada. We want to thank you for spending all that amount of money to host 20 people that couldn't make a decision if you paid them. Collective decision, I should say. And they are getting paid, and they still can't make it. But that's why you see countries in Europe saying, we've got to march to austerity. We've got to begin to reduce our debts, because they can look right down the road and see that it didn't work out very well for Greece. And they're all afraid of becoming the next Greece. Because what does the Reinhardt and Rogoff say to us? Reinhardt and Rogoff says, it goes along, everything's fine, and then one day, boom, you're out of control. And the market you've lost confidence, and the market won't give you any more money. So this, in the US, is the debt super cycle. We just kept borrowing a lot of money. And now the government stepped in as citizens have begun to reduce their debt, and businesses are reducing their debt. The government's stepping in and making up the difference. So my friend in Mauldin, who lives right up here in Victoria now, the bank credit analyst, this deep Scotch voice, he says, John, we're nowhere near the end of the debt super cycle. The governments will be there. And my reply is, well, yeah, for a while. But there's an end to that process. And we don't want to wait to the end to figure out what to do. We want to start thinking about it in advance. Because, like I said, it's a fundamentally different world.